Yo, and I agree with that. Like, so I've gone on record to say this before, man, and I'll say it again, and I'll leave it on the internet. Like, I love my people. I've not always been treated well by some of my people, but that has never diminished the love I have for my people. And when we look at both these things, and you talk about like trying to fit into a dominant culture, the my worldview on it is like I I want to help people to abstain from the things that harm them, in spite of how much they've been told that it's going to benefit them, right? And that applies to both sides of these things, right? So I'm going to jump out the window right now. Like I have listened to Candace Owens for years, right? I've listened to her for years, and I have struggled with some of the stuff she has said, and on other things, I was like, well, when she's right, she's right. You know what I'm saying? Like I've said to Cincy and many other people, I think that the reason that the Black conservative movement can't take a strong hold in the community is because the one place they're not is in the community, right? They're on YouTube, they do town hall events in other cities, but they're not out there evangelizing, they're not out there in the rec centers, they're not mixing it up. So the message falls flat because people are like, man, I don't know you. Right? Like I don't what how you can't even begin to tell me how this is going to benefit me to switch my mind to that. And then when I look at the brothers that, like, I'm talking about some people who might share the same last name as me, how that culture has negatively impacted my family. And you guys are both right. Like the one thing I feel like we have the hardest time doing, just as African Americans, forget like the entire descendants of from the continent of Africa, is getting on the same page about what is harmful and what is permissible, right? Like what is the best thing for all parties involved. And this is where it gets really, really weird, right? So you guys know this. I don't know if you do know him. Have you heard of a guy called Charleston White before? He's another social commentator. Listen, I'm not coming after this man for anything, but he's he's been coming out saying some things. I don't know how long he's been around, but he just popped up in my algorithm for a few different things. And two things he popped up for, and I just want to get you guys weight on this. And I thought he was being consistent in his critique, right? The sister that's currently locked up in Russia right now, for bringing the oil into Russia. His comment was that, listen, I'm not going to rally, riot, or do anything for a woman that wouldn't stand up for the national anthem. He's like, we got people in our own community locked up unjustly on weed charges. Why should I care more about her than the people? And I'm paraphrasing. This is the spirit of what he's saying. Why should I care more about her than the people that are here? And then I was just like, all right, so he's one of these guys. Like he's going to pop up, he's going to say some stuff, and I'll probably see him on Fox News. But then he came out of nowhere and he like started talking about Jay-Z and R. Kelly. Jay-Z and someone else should be in the same jail cell as R. Kelly, allegedly, for their behaviors. And he pointed out something in regards to how our media, the stuff we consume as a people, has popularized certain things. He's like, you guys don't even forget, we all went to go see a movie called Belly, and DMX on the screen, it is received a certain type of pleasure from a 16-year-old actress, right? And I thought that was an interesting take, because what he was alluding to was the popular culture, on that side. Have we made it permissible for apathy and degeneracy to be acceptable? Like, are we okaying this by, and I'm guilty of it too, like the streaming it, giving our dollars to music or mediums that show us as lower than we actually are. What do you think?
Yeah. Hey man, look, man, look. So I'm gonna have to check this guy out, but it's the old banana in a tailpipe.
Okay.
Right. So I was born in 1973. So hip hop for me, um, when I was introduced to hip hop was diverse, right? You know, you had your NWAs, right? But you also had your Public Enemies. Right. You had your Poor Righteous Teachers. You had your X Clan, and then you had your De La Souls, and then you know what I'm saying. You had a variety of different, and the farce. You just had a variety of MCs or hip hop or rap. You know what I'm saying. It was before it became mainstream, right? It was balanced, right? It showed all of us. And so, when we think about these things, we're like, oh, initially, even though white corporations oversaw it, it was still black.
Right.
Fast forward to now, man, they talking about all that stuff. He talking about Belly. He talking about, okay, who produced it? Who the one who was the one to push it into the world? Who was the one that's funding these different artists today, right? When we
Right.
look at hip hop today it's so, man, it's so one-sided, skinny jeans, you know what I'm saying, drugs, sex, money, and murder, right? That's
Right.
all it is, right? And then you get some Coles and some Kendricks in there every now and again, or then you get Drake, right? Anyways, I don't even want to talk about that guy. So, but who's pushing? Who's the one who's paying these guys these millions of dollars, or who's paying, the whole team millions of dollars to promote this particular music? It's white people, bro.
Right.
So he can say what he wants to say, but it goes back to my original statement. If we don't get to the root, if we don't deal with the root of why there's thugs and why there are whitewashed, black men and women, if we don't get to the root of it, we'll always be fighting each other. We'll always make it seem like it's us, and we'll never deal with the reality of it comes from somewhere, right? And so we got to get to the root of this stuff.